Hey traders, welcome back. It is Tuesday, April 7th. Hope you had a nice day of trading today. I had a good day of trading. Traded IWM, went long on 3 contracts, just 3. Made $226 or a 20% P&L on the day. And one thing that sucks is that once again, I was attempting to do my small account challenge and I ran out of space. Even after clearing up a bunch of hard disk space on my laptop, I deleted a ton of old files. I thought I had created enough space for the whole course. Yesterday, I recorded just fine, recorded an hour with no problems. Today, started the day and ran out of space once again. So that was a serious bummer. And especially because last week, trading this way, I traded with this strategy the entire week and essentially doubled my money. Trading less than $1,000 each day all week last week, I ended up with I believe, $961 profit at the end of the week. So basically doubling my money. And between yesterday and today, I've made over $300 once again in just 2 days, trading with just a few contracts each day. And it's a shame that I wasn't able to get the recordings to show you guys, but I'm just going to end up taking my big desktop computer that I know for a fact has a ton of storage space on it, and I'm going to use that. So we're going to try this again next week. 3rd time's a charm, hopefully. And next week I'm going to do the same thing, just using my big desktop machine instead of my laptop, and we'll just trade that way. So, I'll find a way to do it. So don't worry about that. But anyway, let's get to the markets today. Absolutely shameful post by Donald Trump this morning. As I've said before, I'm trying to not be political on this channel. I don't want to be political on this channel, but I've got to call things as I see them. And he made a really disgusting post, the worst one yet. The post, in case you haven't heard it or read it, I'll just read you some highlights of the post. He says, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will." So that's the post. Whether that's Taco Trump trying to do taco stuff, or whether that's serious, depraved war criminal lunatic Trump saying that, who knows? One of those two personalities said that. So did it actually affect the market? Because, that's really the question. Because like in the past, whenever he's said stuff that is really crazy, or it seems crazy, markets have had wild up and down swings. And as I've stated on this channel in the past, I believe a lot of that has been deliberately to try to manipulate the stock market and make his family and friends a lot of money. So was that the cause of this today? Who knows? Even though that post landed this morning the way it did, the stock market at the end of the day today closed almost completely flat. So let that sink in for a second, because that right there is a major point to take from today. So yesterday morning, Trump woke up on Easter Sunday, as one does, I guess, on Easter Sunday, and posted one of the most explosive social media threats in modern presidential history, up until the one this morning. He told Iran, quote, "Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day. Open the strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell." He set an 8 p.m. Eastern deadline. If Iran didn't reopen the Strait of Hormuz, he promised to destroy every power plant and every bridge in the country. Within hours, crude oil was trading near $115 a barrel, and futures were already pricing in the fear. By Tuesday morning, this morning, he doubled down. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. Iran cut direct communication with the U.S. Iranians were literally forming human chains around their own power plants to use themselves as human shields. Israel struck bridges inside Iran hours before the deadline. The S&P 500 opened down 1.2%. Energy names were the only green on the screen. Chevron was up over 2%. Tech got crushed. Apple down nearly 4%. Tesla down 3%. Semiconductor names like Nvidia, AMD, and Micron each dropped around 1%. Here's what you should understand as a trader. The smart money has stopped treating these deadlines as binary events and started treating them as volatility opportunities. Watch the VIX. Today it spiked 11%. That's fear. But experienced traders are using those fear spikes to sell premium into the panic because the resolution keeps printing the same way. That's essentially what I did with IWM today. I went long, I saw the opportunity to get in, I figured this was going to go up like this today. It did exactly what I thought it was going to do, based on what I saw on the charts. Not taking into effect anything that Trump or anybody else was saying, but just looking at the charts. Now, remember, the macro backdrop underneath all of this is still ugly. ISM services prices spiked to 70.7, the highest since October of 2022. Employment in the services sector cratered. We're getting stagflation signals while the market looks away because the war drama is louder. Broadcom and Intel were the bright spots in tech. Broadcom locked in a long-term TPU supply deal with Alphabet, and Intel may be cutting a deal with xAI. The strait is still closed, oil is still above $113, and tomorrow we do this all again. So, I wish I could tell you that there was a way to interpret all of this madness with any sort of certainty. Unfortunately, there's not. All you can do is just look at the candlesticks and see the patterns forming and get in and out quickly. Make your reads with what you see on the charts, not what the news is telling you or not what anybody is saying. Trade the charts. And that's it. So that's all I got for today, April 7th. Once again, I wish that I was able to say that I'm going to have this course out at the end of the week. Unfortunately, I got to start all over again next week with my bigger desktop machine. But even though that's going to be a little bit more unruly, I can still do it. And I know for a fact that there is storage space on the hard drive of that machine. So keep your fingers crossed that there's going to be no hiccups on that one. At least I'm getting 2 weeks in a row to practice trading with my really, really small account size stipulation, which is kind of interesting because, on my normal daily trading, it's just like I don't even think about money. I just trade whatever I want to trade, and I'm not even focused on how much I'm putting in at all. I just trade what feels right. But last week and this week, I'm actually making myself follow a structure that has a cap on how much money I can spend every day. And so that's been really interesting. So I'm going to keep it going for the rest of the week, and then next week I'm actually going to get it on film, and we're going to capture it and release the course. So that's it for today. Have a good evening, everybody. See you tomorrow.